life on other planets? Do you think there's life on other planets?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you like to think about it for a second?
Oh, not really.
Tell me, do you think there is life on other planets?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I suppose it would be.
A 39% increase in power, competition-tuned suspension, serious aerodynamics, all of which tends to reduce washing the BMW 325 IS to an act of futility.
And it's also a mix of modern and old school. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and another episode where we are going to reveal a very iconic car belonging to another good friend of mine. So standing behind me is possibly one of the cleanest ISs we've ever had the opportunity to work on. Now the way myself and Mano met is Mano actually purchased this car from the first Creative Rides auction, and Mano did some research and found out that a lot of guys bring their ISs to us and decided to come and see me. I was super excited because the IS is an iconic car and it's one of my dream cars. As a little kid, I always wanted to own an IS, build ISs and work on them. So I'm fortunate to say that we currently still have flow of 13 ISs in the shop. And just to give you guys some perspective as well, you might notice we do a lot more E30 features. The reason for that is because out of all the cars that we have in the shop, meaning the variety of cars, everything from C10s, Mark 1 Golfs, Buicks, you name it, standing in Chicanos Customs and we work on them. 47% of the cars are E30s. We actually currently have about 50 to 55 E30s in the shop that we are busy restoring and working on, and that are getting various stages of work, which will be coming to the channel soon. So we're not short of content. But anyway, so Mano initially bought the car from the Creative Rides auction and phoned us up and wanted to do an interior refurb because that was realistically the only thing the car needed. Now guys, when it comes to 3 to 5 ISs, if you an old school legend that was around at the time when these cars were brand new, your knowledge would have been much more. Because there's no set information on the IS, there's a lot of misconception. And one of the misconceptions that we face a lot of time is a lot of people believe that an IS came factory with a factory sunroof. That is not the case. We currently have 2 ISs in the shop that check out legitimate EVA 1 ISs that don't have the sunroof. So I'm not sure as to where that misconception comes regarding the sunroofs, but again, it's something that I never knew and I learned when I obviously started working on ISs. So that's a tip from me. Not all ISs came with sunroofs. I personally have seen about 6 of them without sunroofs, but they are legitimate ISs. So that's a tip from me. I hope it helps you guys, especially when you are buying an IS. Let me take you guys to the work that we were tasked to do. So guys, you know me and you know I love interiors, and again, it's where you spend most of your time, so you gotta be the most comfortable. So initially when we did the car, which was about a year ago, the first time I met Mano, we redid the seats in the normal fabric with the Caro centers, as you can see in the pictures. And Mano grew tired of it, especially after he seen few of the other E30 interiors we did and wanted something different. So Mano brought the car back to us to kind of upgrade the interior. So what we did is we retained the Caro centers. We added a light gray Alcantara, but to take it a step further, we decided to match the gear boot to the Caro. And in order to tie in with the Alcantara feel, So this is protective film when we're driving the car, so we don't damage the gear knob or the new material. We wrapped the gear knob in Alcantara, which was hand stitched, and we wrapped the handbrake handle in Alcantara as well. Now I want to show you guys something that I absolutely love. Another first in the E30 market, and this is a Chicano special. So we had the steering wheel dipped in carbon fiber, and we wrapped the sides with Alcantara and BMW color stitching. This is the second car I've done it on. I've done it on Skoko as well. I love this design. I think it's a breakaway from the norm in terms of how E30 steering wheels are done. So this for me is quite a cool feature, and it's also a mix of modern and old school, you know. So let me know what you guys think about the steering option. I'm keen to know exactly whether you guys like it or not. I want to play with a few more colors and see what other type of designs we can do. But that's the thing with cars, you know, everyone or a lot of people are afraid to take risks. And what I love about Mano is that Mano trusts me, and if I give him a suggestion and he's happy with it, he wants to go ahead with it. So thank you so much, Mano, for trusting me. Now initially, this car came in just for interior work and exhaust, but this being an old car, and Mano buying it in the condition it was, meaning Mano didn't do any mechanical work on the car when he bought the car. The car stood by us when we were busy with the interior. I have a habit of, if a client books a car in for an exhaust, I don't like to drive the car to the exhaust shop. I prefer putting the car on a trailer or on a tow truck, taking it to the exhaust shop and then bringing it back, purely because I understand how valuable these cars are, and I don't want to be responsible for something that goes wrong, which is not our fault. So for me, the safest option is to send the car on a tow truck. Now, when the car came back from the exhaust shop, for some reason, the car was struggling to start. We presumed the timing was out. We had a look at the timing. We had a look at a lot of other factors, only to find out that we needed to do a compression test. And when we did the compression test, we saw that the compression was low. That resulted in us having to strip the motor to see what was going on. Now, this is Mano's baby, guys. And sometimes when you're in that situation, you wonder, how do you break the news to the client? So I phoned Mano up and I'm like, dude, I need you to come and see me. And Mano drove through immediately. And when he saw the motor stripped, he was stressed. But when we showed him exactly what has happened, he was very understanding. That's why I like Mano a lot, because he's a legend of a guy. So that resulted in us having to do the rebuild of the motor. And our good friends at J&R Cylinder Heads, who does all my engineering, was kind enough to sort the motor out for us for all the engineering work. When we got the motor back, we reassembled, and Mano's now got a fresh new motor. Now, this engine bay was never painted. It still had the original paint. I gave the suggestion that because we removed the motor, it's the ideal time to paint the engine bay so it looks as nice as the paint outside. So we did a light flat on the engine bay, and we decided to paint the engine bay. But to take it a step further, and this is a tip I always give you guys, in order to make your engine bay and your motor look newer, we decided to powder coat the intake, the tappet cover, and a few other bits here. We also decided to change the clamps and the nuts and bolts and a few other items, just to make it look newer and more presentable. With some of the mechanical work as well, we decided to change the truss bearing. We added a set of or HID kit on the dim, the brights, and the fogs. And we also reconned the cluster and did some electrical work to make sure that all the electricals in the car is working. So this was not a full build. However, the spanner in the works was having to redo the motor. But I'm happy the motor is done now, purely because now it gives Mano another 20-30 years lifespan on the car, and he can drive with confidence knowing that his motor is 100% now. Like every car that we build, it's an honor especially if it's an iconic car that you and I used to dream about. Future plans for this car, I don't think there's much. I know Mano is considering putting a BBS RS wheel on, but he's still negotiating and deciding with that thought in his head. What do you guys think should be done next? Also, are you a fan of the Alcantara and the Ubicaro interior? Do you like it? Do you think it should have been something else? Another cool thing about this car is that it still retains its original roof liner and it still retains its original carpet. Sometimes an IS is nice to be left original. Skoko is my version of my flavor on an IS, but the Evo 2 Barnfind IS that I own, I will restore it to a original condition. But other than that, IS is IS, guys. It's one of the most iconic cars, and it's one of the most aggressive appreciating BMWs in the market now that you can buy. Once again, thank you so much to all you guys for supporting us, showing us love, and also growing the channel with us. Please comment down below if there's maybe a specific video you'd like us to do on a specific car or the type of videos. Remember, this channel is for you guys, to bring you guys content, and also we're gonna grow this channel together. And of course, we can't forget all our champs that are commenting and interacting. We love you guys, and thank you so much for your support, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support, and I appreciate the fact that I'm struggling to put this cover back on. Okay, we'll put this on later. So this beauty belongs to a good friend. Frank. Chop, get your head in the game. Okay.
Just suspended in space.
With colors coming out of it.
Flags are on its side.
It was a ring.
Do you think this was sent from?
So my stop making you nervous.